Transformation begins with me. Transformation begins when I recognize what I have, and then I start to put that to use. I start to trade with that. I start to serve mankind with that. And that change in mindset is really what it means to get a grip on life. It is how to win in life. There is a way to win according to God's design, and it is by acknowledging what you have. I'm glad that you made it here, and I believe that you are ready for a journey of transformation. Many times, change begins with us. If anything is going to change around you, it's because you changed first. Life is meant to be lived inside out, not outside in. Many times, we're looking around, trying to see what's happening and what we can take from outside to transform inside. But actually, we take from inside to transform outside. In John chapter 7, the Bible says, on the last and greatest day of the feast, Jesus cried out, "If any man thirsts, out of his belly, it comes from inside and then becomes a river that causes transformation on the outside." So the key to transformation is understanding that change begins with us. In Acts 3, Peter had an encounter with the crippled man, the lame man. Bible says it was at the gate called Beautiful, where he expected alms from people who were going to the temple to worship. And he did the same to Peter and John. He was looking unto them, expecting that they could give him something. But Peter had more for him. Peter said, "Silver and gold I do not have, but what I have I give." I believe it's the King James or the New King James Version that says, "Such as I have." And I think that's where transformation begins. I mean, this is the same Peter who was timid, who betrayed Jesus, and all of that. When the transformation started, it was because he recognized what he had. He said, "Such as I have." And that's where transformation begins. That's where the power is. So I'm excited that you're here, because really what we're going to be looking at is what you have, what you're not paying attention to, what you have, but you are not expressing correctly, what you have, but you are looking down on. That really holds the power, the key to transformation. In my own personal journey of transformation, what I realized is I had something. I'd written a book called Unveiling Grace, but many years ago, but I really never did much with it, right? Because I was expecting some wind to come from the outside to help me make this big and all of that. And for many years, I didn't do much with it until I started to realize that transformation begins with me. Transformation begins when I recognize what I have, and then I start to put that to use. I start to trade with that. I start to serve mankind with that. And that change in mindset is really what it means to get a grip on life. It is how to win in life. There is a way to win according to God's design, and it is by acknowledging what you have. If you remember the story of the parable of talents, it was about acknowledging what they had and then trading with it. Now, that story specifically was about money, but it applies to other things. It applies to gifts, it applies to blessings, it applies to whatever it is that the Lord has given to you. The Bible says in Philemon 1 verse 6 that the communication of our faith will be effective by the acknowledgement of every good thing that is in us in Christ Jesus. So transformation begins when you start to see yourself differently and you start to recognize what you have. So I'm excited to welcome you on this journey. I hope you will stay with it and get to the end of this. At the end of this, there's an assessment that will help you know what practical steps you need to take so that you can look at where you are and start to plot your way to where you want to be, where you were meant to be. Because really, living life by God's design is living out a life that He already ordained for you. So it's just about fitting into exactly how God sees you, doing what He has designed beforehand for you to do. That is what this is about. So I hope with these lessons you get a grip on life. You take the assessment, you map out your journey, and then you actually start to make efforts towards it. I look forward to seeing you at the end. But first, I'll see you on the next episode.